It's late, and the living room is finally quiet. Just the low glow of a radio dial and the soft hum of the house settling in. Tonight, we're remembering 10 R&B bands who had the talent, the harmonies, and the momentum, only to see it taken away by the people they trusted most. These weren't groups that faded with time. They were undone behind the scenes. Back then, R&B wasn't just entertainment. It lived with us. It played at cookouts, floated from barbershops, echoed through school dances, and followed us into quiet bedrooms at night. These bands felt like family long before we ever knew their names. But behind the smooth grooves and perfect harmonies, deals were made in back rooms. Trust was misplaced, and some of the greatest groups were derailed not by lack of talent, but by bad guidance and broken promises. And when we reach number 1, you'll hear about a band that had everything, only to discover their biggest hit didn't even belong to them. Let's begin with number 10. Number 10, the Esquires. They had that voices from the porch kind of sound, clean, sharp, and sweet like a fresh haircut on a Sunday morning. In 1967, their single Get On Up lit up radios like a firecracker. It had bounce, it had grit, and it made you want to move a little, even if you didn't know how to dance. But while the record climbed the charts, things behind the scenes were less joyful. Their manager, who also served as their producer, kept contracts vague and royalty payments even more so. Despite the success, the money didn't come home. Disagreements turned into distance, and what should have been a long ride turned into a short one. They never stopped singing, but they stopped being heard. Sometimes the first hit is also the last breath. Number 9, the Dramatics. The Dramatics carved out a sound that wrapped around the heart like a memory. Their harmonies were deep and textured, with a velvet feel rooted in gospel strength. Songs like In the Rain and What You See Is What You Get weren't just hits, they were moments. By the early 70s, their sound had become a staple, but trouble was brewing off stage. Their early manager reportedly played favorites. He set members against one another, quietly feeding division while collecting the profits. The group's lineup began to shift, not because of creative differences, but because of broken trust. Contracts weren't always honored, money wasn't always explained, and slowly, the spirit that had brought them together began to drift apart. There were still moments of brilliance, still nights of magic, but the foundation had cracked. Harmony can disappear long before the music does. Number 8, the Silvers. The Silvers felt like pure joy, a big, beautiful family band with coordinated steps and smiles that could light up a room. Songs like Boogie Fever and Hotline made you want to sing with the windows down. They were managed by their own father. At first, that felt like a blessing, family looking out for family. But the music industry is a hard place, even when love is involved. Financial missteps and legal mismanagement began to creep in. As disco's golden moment passed, the group found themselves without a plan and without proper guidance. Several members later spoke out about missed chances and misdirection. The very person who had protected them was also the one who held them back. They had the talent, but when the people steering the ship are also tied to your heart, the wreckage cuts deeper. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from home. Number 7, Bloodstone. Bloodstone had a sound that came from deep within, raw, honest, and full of tenderness. Natural High wasn't just a song, it was a feeling, a breath in the middle of chaos. They emerged in the early 70s with something different, a blend of soul and rock, soft vocals layered over powerful emotion. It should have taken them farther. But their manager, who controlled much of their direction and finances, made choices that left the group struggling. Money vanished. Tour plans fell apart, and records with real promise were left without proper promotion. The members kept going, but the energy was different. Frustration lived just behind the harmonies. A natural high doesn't last when no one is watching your fall. Number 6, Blue Magic. Blue Magic lived up to their name. Their harmonies shimmered, their ballads floated. Sideshow and Three Ring Circus where heartache turned into theater, beauty born from pain. They were part of the golden era of Philly soul, and they were poised for greatness. But behind their voices was a flawed business arrangement. Their manager's dealings, mixed with label confusion, left them vulnerable. Royalty issues followed. Contracts lacked transparency. And when it came time to protect the group's future, the leadership wasn't strong enough. Eventually, the original members drifted apart. Their magic never disappeared, but it wasn't shared the way it should have been. Magic fades fastest when the people holding it forget who it was meant to shine for. If these stories are bringing memories back, subscribing is one way to keep these voices alive. Just a quiet way of saying thank you to the artists who gave us so much. Number 5, the Chai Lights. The Chai Lights gave us stories wrapped in silk. Their music had grace and soul, but it also had grit. Have You Seen Her and Oh Girl sounded like pages from a diary read aloud over candlelight. Formed in the late 60s in Chicago, they rose during a powerful time for soul music, but their manager, who also had producing roles, kept a tight grip on the group's contracts and direction. The financial arrangements didn't always benefit the artists. The cracks began to show. Frustration built up. Members walked away, not because they had lost the music, but because the trust had worn too thin. Despite it all, their songs still resonate. They sound like truth, but even when you see her, sometimes the damage has already been done. Number 4, the Manhattans. The Manhattans sang about love with a kind of quiet wisdom. Kiss and Say Goodbye felt like a letter written in the dark. Shining Star glowed with warmth. They had started in the early 60s and their career lasted decades. But long journeys don't always mean smooth roads. Their manager, responsible for handling bookings and finances, reportedly made poor decisions that left the group exposed. Royalty confusion, tour issues, creative disagreements. Slowly, the bond within the group began to wear thin. They continued performing, but something had changed. They never lost their harmony, but they lost the comfort of knowing someone had their back. Some voices still sing, even when the heart is heavy. Number 3, the Soul Children. The Soul Children brought gospel to the soul stage. With roots in Memphis and fire in their voices, they poured life into every line. Their songs didn't chase charts, they chased truth. But their management, tied closely to the leadership at Stax Records, failed to secure long-term safety. When Stax crumbled in the mid-70s, so did their momentum. The manager didn't guide them to new deals or fresh stages. Instead, the group was left in the ruins of a fallen label. No tours, no distribution, and no voice in a room that had once welcomed them. Their music still feels like a sermon, but no one protected the pulpit. Some voices fall silent, not from lack of song, but from lack of shelter. Number 2, the Moments. Later Ray, Goodman, and Brown. Few groups delivered smoothness like the Moments. Love on a Two-Way Street was tender, aching, and unforgettable. But their journey was paved with trouble. Their manager, working with multiple acts, divided time and focus. Contracts were mishandled, royalties were delayed or denied. Eventually, they lost the rights to their own name. The group became Ray, Goodman, and Brown, just to continue. They sang through it because the music mattered more than the paperwork, but the loss was real. When you have to change your name to survive, something sacred has already been taken. Even when your voice remains, your identity can be stolen. Number 1, the 5 Stair Steps. They were called the first family of soul, young, gifted, and full of light. Also, OH Child became an anthem of hope, heard in hard times and happy ones. The group was managed by their father. In the beginning, it made sense. He loved them. He believed in them, but the line between guidance and control is thin. Key business decisions fell through. Opportunities passed them by, and as the group matured, so did their need for independence. Some members wanted more say. Others wanted to branch out. But with management tied to blood, separating the personal from the professional became impossible. Eventually, they faded from the spotlight, not because they weren't good enough, but because they weren't given enough freedom to grow. Some children climb, others fall, but all remember the music that once brought them together. When we look back at these stories, it's not just about bad contracts or lost charts. It's about what happens when the people meant to protect you forget the weight of your trust. These bands gave us everything: their youth, their voices, their truth, and they deserved more. Thank you for remembering, for listening with care, for honoring the journey behind the harmony. If you'd like to help keep this music alive, a gentle subscribe is all it takes. And if you're ready to open another door in this house of memories, the next video is waiting. 10 soul singers who knew it was time to walk away. Until then, keep the record spinning.